Hello friends, welcome to the UGC EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Jitendra Sarova, Associate Professor, Department of Geography, Bhim Ram Ambedkar College, University of Delhi. Today I am going to elaborate upon humid microthermal climates which come under the paper climatology. First of all, let us discuss what could be the learning outcome of this particular module. While going through this module, you will be able to understand the meaning of humid microthermal climates. You will be able to identify the climatic regions of main humid microthermal climates. You will also be able to differentiate between various types of humid microthermal climates. You will be able to describe the distinctive characteristic features of humid microthermal climates. You will also be able to describe the precipitation form, regime and causative factors in this particular climate to establish interrelationship between temperature, precipitation and natural vegetation. You will also be able to identify and explain the role of factors influencing climatic conditions, and finally you will be able to explain the role of air masses, fronts in humid microthermal climates. Humid microthermal climates represent the continental climates of North America and Eurasia. The term microthermal is used to describe the low temperature conditions which prevail in these climates, especially during the winter season. Characteristic feature of microthermal climates is cold winter. In these climates, winters are cold enough to ensure that surface remains snow covered for a fixed period of time every year. Conceptually, an average temperature of 0 degrees Celsius or colder is assumed to be necessary to bring this snow cover. Therefore, this climate is determined on the basis of average temperature of the coldest month below 0 degrees Celsius. Köppen used the criteria of average temperature of the coldest month below -3 degrees Celsius, but it was modified to 0 degrees Celsius by scholar Trivartha. Majority of the climatologists follow this modified criterion of this particular climate for determining boundary between mesothermal climates and microthermal climates. For the warmest month, the average temperature has to be 10 degrees Celsius and more to call the climate type to be mesothermal. As precipitation exceeds evapotranspiration, the climate is humid. In this module, the focus is on humid microthermal climates. First of all, let us understand the bases and types of humid microthermal climates. These climates are known as humid because precipitation is more than potential evapotranspiration. The term microthermal means low temperature, and it specially indicates the temperature conditions of winter season. As mentioned, in humid microthermal climates, winters are cold. These climates are differentiated from humid mesothermal climates on the basis of 0 degrees Celsius isotherm. At macro level, humid microthermal climates are represented by letter symbol capital D. On the basis of distribution of precipitation throughout the year, the symbol F is added to make it DF. These climates are typically subdivided into 3 categories based on the temperature characteristics of the summer season. On the basis of Köppen's classification, and its simplification by Trivartha and use of criteria of air masses and fronts by Stoller, these climates have been classified into three main types in this particular module. The first major type of humid microthermal climate is humid continental hot summer climate, which is represented by symbol DFA. This climate is also known as cold snowy forest climate. It is confined to the southerly parts of the humid microthermal climates. Thus, within microthermal climates, it is warmer and less severe. This climate is a product of huge land masses in mid-latitudes. As continentality is a key feature, this climate does not occur in southern hemispheres, where the mid-latitudes are dominated by oceans. This climate prevails over an extensive area in the United States of America, where it extends from prairie region to the Midwest to the Atlantic coast in the east. The Corn Belt of United States has this type of climate. That is why this is also known as Corn Belt climate. Thus, the humid continental hot summer climate is located on the leeward side of the continent in North America, extending from 35 to 45 degrees north. Its unusual extent to eastern sea coast is because of westerlies. These winds are so persistent that incursions of maritime influence from east are insignificant and continental character is maintained. In Europe, this climate type is found slightly northward in the latitudinal range of 43 to 50 degree north. In case of Europe, it is located on the windward side of westerlies. In the interior regions, it is confined to parts of Romania and Bulgaria and occupies mainly the area around lower Danube Valley. In Eastern Asia, this climate region occupies North China, North and South Korea, and Northern Honshu, the main island of Japan. Now let us come to the temperature characteristics. In humid continental climate with hot summers, the average summer month temperatures vary from 18 degrees Celsius to 25 degrees Celsius. Summer season is long, warm and humid. Most of the time, tropical maritime air masses predominate. Due to high relative humidity, summer days are rather uncomfortable. However, occasional intrusions of polar air masses bring down temperatures by a few degrees during summer months. Within this climate region, the summer temperatures are higher in Northern America and Asia as compared to Europe. Winter temperature in this climate region averages -5 to 1.5 degrees Celsius for a period of about 3 to 5 months. In cold winter season, due to invasion of polar continental cold air masses, sub-freezing temperature conditions prevail for several days. In the coastal parts, due to marine influence, summers are warm and winters are mild, for instance, in New York. The average annual temperature ranges are fairly large in this climate because the winter and summer temperatures are relatively severe. The average annual range of temperature is normally more than 22 degrees Celsius. The range of temperature is generally increasing from south to north and from the coast to the interior. The summer temperature gradients are weak and winter temperature gradients are steeper. Shifts in wind direction during the cold season often result in sudden large temperature changes, but summers are more or less uniform. Like annual ranges of temperature, as mentioned, the diurnal ranges of temperature are also highly variable. Let us try to understand about the precipitation characteristics in this climate. This climate region extends in the frontal zone of interaction of polar and tropical air masses. Therefore, due to atmospheric instability, precipitation is received throughout the year. It is normally highest during the summer season. However, there are spatial and temporal variations of the amount and distribution of precipitation. Annual average precipitation varies from 50 to 90 centimeter. Intense heating during summer season results into convectional activity, and cumulonimbus clouds bring convectional precipitation along with thunderstorms. There is occasional cyclonic or frontal precipitation also during the summer season. During winter, cyclonic precipitation is the rule. It is the result of frontal interaction of tropical and polar air masses along the cold, warm and occluded fronts. Part of this precipitation is in the form of snowfall, and its proportion increases with latitude. The summer rains are often in the form of relatively short convective showers, whereas winter snows are more prolonged. In autumn and spring, the cyclonic precipitation dominates. The high temperature and high summer season precipitation provides suitable conditions for the growth of vegetation. Natural vegetation of this climate region consists of broad-leaf deciduous forests or mixed broad-leaf deciduous coniferous forest. Now let us come to the second major type of humid microthermal climates, and it is known as humid continental mild summer climate. This climate is characterized by a longer, more severe winter and shorter, more moderate summer. It extends mainly between 50° north to 65° north latitudes. This subtype of humid continental climate has more severe winters as compared to the humid continental hot summer climate. It is distributed north of humid continental hot summer climate. In the dry continental interiors of Eurasia towards equator, it merges with steppe regions. Its poleward boundary is delimited by the subarctic climate with far more severe winters. In North America, this climate extends in the mid-latitudes, mainly in South Canada and northeastern United States, east of the 100° west longitude up to the coast. The Great Lake region is part of this climate. In Europe, it extends from Poland, eastern Germany, southern Sweden, and covers larger parts of former USSR region. In Asia, central and northern Manchuria, southeast Siberia, and Hokkaido island of Japan experience this type of climate. As far as temperature is concerned, this climatic subtype is located in higher latitudes. Temperature is usually lower than in humid continental hot summer climate. Winters are more severe and summers are milder as compared to the previous climate. It is notable that the difference in temperature between these two subtypes is much larger in winter season as compared to summer. The coldest winter months have an average temperature of -15°C to -5°C, whereas the hottest summer month average is in the range of 16 to 20°C. Heat waves are also common during summer season, but they are not as prolonged as in humid continental hot summer climate. In winter season, cold spells are frequent and they last longer than in humid continental hot summer climate. During these cold spells, sub-zero temperatures are common. The annual range of temperature is high. It is on an average 25 to 40 degrees Celsius. The highly dynamic daily weather conditions is another important characteristic feature of this climate. Like humid continental hot summer climate, in this climate also non-periodic temperature fluctuations are common and temperature changes within a short span of time. Within a day, many places register a change of temperature of about 20 degrees Celsius. In the western part of Europe, due to marine influence, the winters are milder and summers are cool. Let us now try to understand precipitation characteristics of this climate. In humid continental climate with warm summers, the precipitation tends to be moderate in amount. It is mostly concentrated in summer season. This climate region receives relatively less precipitation than humid continental hot summer climate. Precipitation tends to decrease from the coastal region towards continental interiors. Precipitation also maintains its declining trend towards the pole. The spatio-temporal variations of precipitation are common in this climate. However, the average annual precipitation is in the range of 30 to 80 centimeter. Precipitation is distributed throughout the year, but summer season maxima are common. The convectional precipitation of summer is far less as compared to humid continental hot summer climate. In the form of precipitation, rainfall dominates in summer and snowfall in winter. Winter precipitation is associated with fronts and cyclones. Although this climate receives lesser precipitation as compared to humid continental hot summer climate, but it receives greater snowfall. The snowfall cover is also thicker and lasts for more than 3 months. In this humid continental midsummer climate, the vegetation is mainly forests. Towards the polar margins, as winter is longer and more severe, conifer trees they dominate. The major species in these areas are fir, pine and cypress. In southern parts of this climatic region, along with conifer, mixed broadleaf deciduous forests are also common. Now let us come to the third major type of climate within the group of humid microthermal climates. It is known as boreal or subarctic, or popularly it is known as taiga climate. This climate is found only in Northern America and Eurasia, mainly between 15 degree or 55 degree north to 65 or 70 degree north latitudes. These two continents have large land masses in the higher middle latitudes to experience this harsh or extreme climate. It covers broad, uninterrupted expanses in North America from western Alaska to Newfoundland, and in Eurasia from Norway up to the Pacific coast of Russia. Taiga term is used for the subarctic lands by the Russians. This term is now used in North America as well as in other parts of the world. Northward, taiga climate merges with polar tundra climate. Therefore, the poleward limit of this climate is determined by 10 degrees Celsius isotherm of mean temperature of the warmest month. On its southern margin, this climate grades into humid continental mild summer climate. The marine west coast climate prevails in the western side. In North America, the western segment of the taiga climate extends a little beyond the Arctic Circle. On the contrary, it extends further southwards in the eastern sides of both North America and Eurasia continents. As compared to North America, the distribution of taiga is more widespread in Eurasia. The Eurasian taiga climate is more extreme type. It is mainly due to the following two factors. Number one, continentality. You all know that the size of European continent is much larger. The effect of continentality therefore is higher. Further, the effect of continentality is reduced in case of North America by the presence of vast water body of Hudson Bay in Canada. After distribution, let us now come to temperature characteristics of this climate. The taiga regions in the higher middle latitudes of North America and Eurasia continents are the major source regions for continental polar air masses. The outstanding feature is the dominance of winter. The continental situation of taiga climate is ideal for intense heating as well as intense cooling of the land. Due to its high latitudinal situation, winter cooling is more intense than summer heating and it operates for longer durations. The length of winter season is about 8 months. Therefore, this climate have long and bitterly cold winters, whereas summers are very short and cool and extend for only 1 to 3 months. The average annual temperature are very low in taiga climate. The Siberian taiga climate has lowest recorded minimum winter temperatures outside the ice caps of Greenland and Antarctica. In fact, for many years, the world's coldest temperature was attributed to Verkhoyansk in east central Siberia, where the temperature dropped to minus 68 degrees Celsius on February 5th and 7th, 1892. Over a period of about 2 decades, this place had an average monthly minimum of minus 62 degrees Celsius during the month of January. Although exceptional, these temperatures reflect the severe cold that prevails in the taiga winter. The lowest temperatures ever recorded in North America subarctic region is minus 62.8 degrees Celsius at Snake, Yukon in Alaska, and in Canada, winters are relatively less severe because of the lesser continentality and the moderating influence of the Hudson Bay. The long winter nights in taiga region further drop the already low temperatures. Besides, long-lasting snow cover because of high albedo reflects the small amount of radiation that reaches it and negligible is absorbed. The cooling effect of long duration snow surface results into development of high atmospheric pressure conditions. Further, the extremely low temperatures of subarctic region during the cold winter months cause vast areas to be permanently frozen to greater depths. This is known as permafrost. All of you know this is known as permafrost. In contrast, taiga summers are significantly warm despite their short duration. During summer season, the temperature rises rapidly. July, which is the warmest month, has an average temperature of around 16 degrees Celsius. In June and August, the mean monthly temperatures are in the range of 10 to 15 degrees Celsius. And in the month of May and September, this range is between 4 and 8 degrees Celsius. The longer duration of sunshine compensates the shortness of the summer. At 60° north latitude, the length of the days during summer solstice is 18.8 hours, and it further increases poleward. In fact, at the time of summer solstice, the amount of insolation received at the surface at latitude 60° north and at equator is almost same. The long summer days allow large quantities of heat and light to reach subarctic surface. Despite the long hours of daylight, the sun never rises very high in the sky, so the solar radiation is not intense. During this time, daily maximum of 28 degrees Celsius or above is common. Summer days in this climate are generally warm or cool. Due to severe weather conditions, the growing season in this climate is very short, ranging from 50 to 75 days. Midsummer frosts are also frequent in this climatic region. The extremely cold winters and relatively warm summers of Taiga combine to produce the greatest annual temperature ranges on Earth. The annual ranges of temperature on this climate are very large. Yakutsk holds the distinction of having the greatest average temperature range in the world, that is 63 degrees Celsius. In North America, this range on maximum side is about 45 degrees Celsius. The North American subarctic is relatively less severe, as explained earlier. Diurnal range of temperature in this climate are also high. After temperature, let us come to precipitation characteristics of this climate. This climate prevails in northerly continental interiors, which are source regions of continental polar air masses. Therefore, only limited moisture is available throughout the year. The Taiga climate is characterized by meager precipitation, seldom exceeding 50 centimeter. In Siberia, the precipitation average is about 38 centimeter, while in Canada it varies from around 35 to 50 centimeter. However, most of the precipitation is received during summer. At this time, the polar anticyclone is weaker and atmospheric instability is induced by increased moisture holding capacity of air due to high temperatures. There are several factors responsible for meager precipitation in the Taiga region. First, low temperature conditions reduce the moisture holding capacity of the air. Second, interior or leeward locations of the continents keep them mostly away from maritime influences. Third, the most dominant factor for stability is the influence of the polar high pressure system. By far the greatest precipitation comes as rain from scattered summer convectional and frontal showers. The Taiga region receives lesser snowfall as compared to other humid continental climates. Yet there is illusion that more snowfall takes place over here. The reasons for this illusion are: number one, as no melting takes place for months at a time, so the entire winter season snow surface of up to 1 meter is visible all at once. And secondly, during blizzards, high velocity winds swirl the dry powdery snow into high drifts, giving a wrong notion of more snowfall than actual. Extremely low temperatures cause the winter precipitation to fall as fine and dry snow. Snow cover stays on ground for a long period of 7 or 8 months. It is noteworthy that because of low temperature, even the meager amount of precipitation is more than what can be evaporated. Therefore, subarctic regions are humid enough for forest growth, and conifer trees are common here. In Russia, this forest is called taiga, which means snow forest. These needle leaf conifer forests are composed of evergreen, cypress, fir and pine. Now let us try to summarize about this particular module and the types of climates discussed so far. Humid microthermal climates are climates of mid-latitudes and adjoining high-latitude regions. Moist continental climate and boreal forest climate are the two major types of climate within humid microthermal group. Moist continental climate includes humid continental hot summer climate and humid continental mild summer climate. These climates prevail in North America and Eurasia, mainly in the latitudinal range of 30 to 55 degrees, and in case of Europe 45 to 60 degree. It means they prevail over central and eastern parts of North America and in mid-latitudinal zone of Eurasia. The humid continental hot summer climate, which is labeled as DFA, is located mainly south of the humid continental mild summer climates labeled as DFV. In both, seasonal contrasts are strongly established. The day-to-day weather conditions are highly variable. Precipitation is distributed throughout the year with maxima in summer. In North America, the maritime tropical air mass is more active, and in case of Europe, maritime polar air mass is coming under the influence of westerlies from North Atlantic Ocean play the more significant role. In North America, from eastern coast to central part, climate changes from perhumid in coastal areas to humid in lake region and to subhumid in the central part, around 95 to 100 degree east longitudinal range. In case of Europe, it becomes humid to subhumid from west to east towards the interiors. In Asia, North China, North and South Korea and Japan, it remains dominantly humid. Taiga climate is the most extreme type of microthermal climates. The polar limit of this is set by 10 degrees Celsius isotherm of average temperature of the warmest month. This climate is distributed over the continents in North America and Eurasia in the latitudinal belt of 50 to 70 degree north. Winter in this climate extends over about 8 months and permafrost conditions prevail. Although much of the boreal forest climate is humid with precipitation of 50 to 100 centimeter, large areas in Western Canada and Siberia have annual precipitation totals of less than 40 centimeter. This precipitation is cyclonic and frontal in nature. The annual range of temperature is very high due to continentality. Extremely low temperatures cause the winter precipitation to fall as fine and dry snow. The surface and trees remain snow covered for majority part of the year. This climate is associated with conifer vegetation. That's all as far as humid microthermal climates are concerned. Thank you very much.